All right, and the last individual I want to talk about is going to be Officer Loper, badge number 225. This stop occurred on December the 3rd. Again, I always like to state, Officer Loper, badge number 225, you guys have a very hard job. And some people like to state that the Second Amendment is not for black people. I tend to agree, but I'm not going to accept that. Again, lately I've been doing a lot of my Overwatch after I leave the gym. So since I'm not wearing a belt holster, I tend to carry my PLR 16, which actually is classed as a hand. So I'll strap it around my side. So there was they never said, but I'm pretty sure it was a robbery of a Circle K. So I pulled over across the street, and I walked across the street to the Circle K property, and I barely broke the plane of the property. I mean, literally probably 2 to 4 feet on the property where no officers were. I mean, they were not gathering evidence in that area. So before I can even set my bipod down good, Trooper Loper, that's number 225, he immediately starts addressing me. And I remain calm, and he asked me, can he help me? I was like, no. What are you doing? Can I help you? Who are you? No, you can't help me. I'm just here. Why are you wearing a weapon at a crime scene? I'm thinking in my head, what's your crime scene got to do with my weapon? And Officer Loper seems to think just because I'm wearing a weapon, it automatically suspect to a crime. That's not how it works. Usually when there's a suspect to a crime, it's usually a description. He was 6'6", white male, black male, yellow male, green male, approximately 600 pounds, bald, red hair, blonde hair, had a scar on his face, silver gun, shotgun, AR type weapon. There's a description. Everybody carrying a gun is not immediately a suspect. You don't automatically become a suspect because you have a gun. And now if he quoted a description of the guy wearing I don't know what color I was wearing that night. I think I was wearing blue or red. I stepped in front of the camera for the purpose of the video. So let's go with, I think I was wearing blue. It's like, well, if I was wearing blue shorts, long sleeve, black sweatshirt, bald, approximately 6 feet, 230 pounds, 235 pounds, with a Uzi, because anybody that are not familiar with guns, that probably call it an Uzi type weapon. I don't know. So then I might be able to work with you a little bit. But I'm not going to let you call me a suspect just because I'm carrying a firearm. I have the right to bear arms. And you don't get to violate my rights just because I'm in of a robbery or whatever. You don't get to just bark orders at me and just impose your will upon me. I have the right to remain silent. And I asked, the supervisor came over, and because the supervisor recognized me, and I asked Officer Loper what his name and badge number, and he refused to give it. And then the Sergeant Soul knew he was wrong, and then he identified him for me. And then he asked me to, well, his badge number is on his chest. And I said I didn't want to approach the officer out of safety. And then he walked over and looked at his badge and gave me his badge number. And I asked him, was that so hard? And then he was like, well, you're not giving me enough. Well, I don't have to give you any information. You're a public servant. You have to give me information. You don't get to violate my rights. And I asked Sergeant Soul, what was the first line of the Miranda rights? And he obliged me and said, you have the right to remain silent. Exactly. And then if he would have refused to answer that, then I was like, let's go with this. Let's go with the Fifth Amendment. That would have been my next statement. I have the right to remain silent. You don't get to just automatically turn me into a suspect because you feel like turning me into a suspect. I have rights. But the camera should have been a dead giveaway what I was doing. And I asked you to lower your voice, officer, because you're escalating a situation that didn't need to be escalated. Now, if I would have been doing the same thing to you, then I would have been wrong, because Sergeant Soul said to me, well, you've been known to be confrontational. Absolutely. If you guys are going to yell at me and I don't have to stay docile. I'm sorry, I'm a guy that fights back. There are so many people in our society that can't fight back because they're the underdogs, because they might have a couple things on their record and they might have made some mistakes. So we automatically dismiss him in society because guess what? They made a few mistakes. So you automatically have the upper hand. You can't do that with me. Let's say we do have one of you bad cops that wants to get back at me and they want to plant drugs on me, marijuana, cocaine. My significant others, they already know to pull my records from the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So for blood tests, I get blood tests every few months. So all of a sudden now when these drugs from nowhere show up, now all of a sudden, now why would this guy have drugs when we can go back 25, 30 years of blood tests and he has nothing in his records? So we'll let them be the judge. And then we'll start the internal investigations, so on and so forth, if an officer wants to go ahead and open up that Pandora's box and try to plant drugs on me. Because when I got arrested, man, they took all my weapons out. They emptied all the rounds out, and looking for illegal rounds, anything illegal in my. And they didn't find anything because I follow the law, and I will continue to follow the law because I look at you and make sure you're not violating people's rights. Don't mean I'm a menace to society. Thank you for listening. No.
Can I help you?
No.
Who are you, sir?
Nobody of any.
What's that, sir?
Nobody of any significance.
Okay, why do you have a weapon over here, sir?
So I can have, because I'm legally able to have a weapon.
Okay, sir, you can't be on this property, sir.
If you guys got a crime scene, put up some tape.
Okay, we'll put some tape up, sir, but I'm telling you as an officer, you can't be over here, sir.
Put some tape up.
That's 10-4, 12.
Okay, you gotta go across the street, sir.
I do not, sir.
What's that?
I do not, sir. Put up some tape. Now what I am is I'm on the actual easement.
What's that, sir?
I'm on the easement now. This is.
So what are you doing, sir?
Okay, I'm not answering any of the questions. Okay.
Okay.
What's your name and badge number?
No, sir. Who are you first?
What's your name? You're a public servant.
I am, sir. I am. So I'm holding down a crime scene.
I'm not raising my voice to you.
I don't want to create an issue over here.
I'm not raising. I'm on the public easement right now. I asked your name. I asked your name and badge number, officer.
Sir, you don't get a choice for that yet, sir.
I asked your name and badge number, officer.
I'm asking you, why are you over here taking pictures and why do you have a weapon? I just told you
I'm on the public easement. I don't have to answer any questions. What's your name and badge number, officer?
I don't have to give you that, sir.
Officer, what's your name and badge number?
I'm Sergeant Soul. This is Officer
Sergeant Soul?
Yeah.
Officer who?
This is Officer Loper.
Officer Loper, badge number?
It's plainly right there.
Well, I don't want to approach him. I can't see it from here.
Okay.
And your policy is when a citizen
I got it. I know you, man.
Okay. What's your badge number, officer?
225, sir.
Okay. Why was that so hard, officer?
It's not hard, sir.
Okay.
Well, I'm saying, why was it so hard for me to explain to you, sir?
Lower your voice, officer.
Why was it so hard for me to explain to you?
I'm on the easement.
I got it. Thank you, Officer Loper.
Okay. Have a good day.
Now, you don't command my officers.
I'm not commanding. I did not give him a command. Okay. I told him to have a good day. Okay, I'm on an easement right now. I asked the officer.
We've got a crime scene going on here.
I asked the officer to put up crime tape, and I will honor the crime tape. Okay. He asked me to step back off the property. I just stepped back off the property on the easement.
I have it.
Okay.
I stepped back on the easement. Now then he started asking me about the weapon. Man, you both know I'm legally carrying a weapon. Yeah, I don't have to answer any questions.
Well, that's not true.
I did not.
Listen, hey.
Legally, what is the Fifth Amendment?
You're at a crime scene.
Okay.
A serious crime scene.
Okay.
Where violent crimes occurred.
Okay.
And I'm not going to give you all the details. But a gun.
I didn't ask for no details.
I'm just talking to you,
okay,
man.
That's fine.
And you're giving these officers a hard time. But listen, they got a job to do. And part of it is securing the scene.
I absolutely understand.
Now, a gun's a concern in this crime.
Okay.
He don't know you.
Okay.
I can't remember you. I know you. We've talked.
Okay.
I mean,
absolutely.
I know you stay abreast of these things. You're generally a good guy.
Absolutely.
You are often argumentative.
Okay.
You are. I mean.
Okay.
But ultimately, if the officer wants to know what you're doing out here at a crime scene wearing a gun, that's fair game.
I don't have to answer
because you might just be the suspect.
I just might be.
You might just be. And so that officer does have the authority
to ask you questions.
To ask you questions, control some of your movement.
Okay.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Now, if you're just...
He said step back. I got back off the property onto the easement.
Now, we don't have to have crime scene tape up to say, right now our boundary is this curve until we get it up. Because right now, we're still getting a handle on things.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
You know. But you're better than that. I don't know if you're just trying to test these officers, man, but come on. Man.
I got it on tape right here.
Now, I'm trying to handle stuff with the chain of command to coordinate efforts.
Absolutely.
But I'm over here having to talk to you.
That's your officer's fault. I did not.
No, sir.
I did not say a word.
He asked you questions, and you should have just complied with it.
I don't have to comply. That's what the Constitution is about.
You're here immediately after a serious crime's taken place, where a gun's a concern, wearing a gun.
Okay.
That is enough for us to hold you in question.
What is the first line of the Miranda rights?
You have the right to remain silent. But you're not in custody.
Absolutely.
Okay?
I still have the right to remain silent.
Sure you do. But you also have the right to comply with the police and be a good citizen.
He said get off the property.
No, man, you were being argumentative with him. Why?
This will be on YouTube, and we'll let the citizens make a choice.
That's fine.
Okay. Like I said, he came raising his voice, and I'm keeping the same voice right now that I did.
Because you being out here is a concern. He doesn't know you.
Okay.
Okay.
But see, that's the point. Escalation when it doesn't have to be. I'm not mad at you. I think you're a cool dude. Like you said, I've dealt with you before. We might not always agree.
And we're not agreeing right now.
Absolutely.
Start working these calls.
Absolutely.
You see, we got a lot going on.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, we need our citizens to help us get this stuff done, not be argumentative. He had the right to question you. Bottom line, he had the right to question.
I have the right not to answer.
Okay, then you can be detained because to him, especially because he doesn't know you, you are a suspicious person at this time.
Okay.
All right. And that's why I wanted to go ahead and handle it.
Okay, no problem. But he said step off the property. I've done so. Now I don't have to do everything he says. Now, when I ask him,
understand that if you don't obey his lawful commands, then you go to jail for corruption. You know that.
like I said before. Now,
here's where I'd like you to go. Go up here to this grassy area.
Okay.
Okay, because this is very thin. I don't mind you come right up to the curb line.
Okay.
Okay, but this is very thin right here, and somebody gawking this way at our pretty blue lights might just come up on this curb. So for safety, come on up here.
Okay.
This gives you a little bit more room. You're not infringing on us at this time.
Well, I wasn't infringing right there, but out of concern,
I disagree.
Out of concern for the public right now, I'm moving. Now, normally I won't because that is an easement.
Sure, but
now,
you know that we can control that with a crime scene. We don't have to have tape.
You can control that with tape.
We don't have to have crime scene.
And we wouldn't have that problem. Okay, we're good. We're good. I just moved, officer.
Appreciate it.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely.
Be safe.
Okay. It's a little chilly out here. You know what probably would help with that is if we put up some crime scene tape. That would probably help. Putting up some crime scene tape would probably help with that. Now they have to back people out because they're not putting up any crime scene tape. You see the black officer, that's the officer that was raising this voice that I asked to lower his voice and to give me his name and badge number. His supervisor, the sergeant, gave me his name and badge number. For whatever reason, he came over here hostile. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't get irate or anything. So he just came over here, thought he would order me around. And like I said, I got off the property on the easement, as you'll see on the, or you have already seen on the videos, depending on where I place this portion of the video, whether I put it before or after the video that I walk up on. So you'll get his name and badge number when I'm, trying to talk to the officer. And the sergeant said I was confrontational. No, I'm not just going to let you come up here regardless if I'm wearing a gun or not, because he says the officer don't know me. But I have the right not to answer any questions regardless of what this officer thinks he has the right to do. Regardless, I'm assuming it was a robbery here or something to that nature. And I came up and I was initially on the property, just right in front of the curb. I was originally just right in front of, hey, I'm sure it was a robbery. Oh, really? Yeah, so they're not letting anybody in there. Yeah. All right. So as I was saying before that person, I was right about 2 feet from that curve to the right, and the officer came over telling me to get off the property. So I moved a couple feet to the easement, the grassy area right there, and that wasn't good enough. He thought he was going to question me, and I just was going to fold. So that's not quite the way it worked out. And I told him several times to lower his voice, because yelling at me is really not going to get you anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and cut it until something else happens.